Hello and welcome to the tutor training for the Scholars Programme. I'm Alex Jones and I'm one of the managers of the Scholars Programme at the Brilliant Club. My background is in education, having been a primary head teacher, an Ofsted inspector and a director of education for a local authority. I'm one of the presenters who will be guiding you through your training today. I hope you enjoy it and thank you. This session will guide you through the concept of backward planning, beginning with focusing on creating a final assignment. This may be different to how undergraduate courses that you've worked on have been planned. Undergraduate courses often cover a range of areas relating to the key topic, and pupils are expected to use this information independently to answer a selection of essay questions. On the Scholars Programme, there is just one question, the final assignment, and each tutorial should build pupil knowledge and skills to support them in answering that question. There is more detailed guidance on this in your course design guidance document. We have indicated on the slides which pages in your guidance are relevant. On these pages you can see more examples and find more tips on how to make sure that you're pitching your assignment correctly for the age group that you're working with. But for now, let's begin by creating a final assignment. By the end of this session, you will have drafted your final assignment question and created a backwards plan. And you will have understood what a learning outcome is and drafted outcomes for your tutorials. Now, we'd like you to think about why your PhD topic, or the course you are planning to create if you already have a clear idea of what that is important. What are the big issues at stake and what is vital about your research? Pause the video here and see if you can summarise in a sentence why your course matters. The explanation should be aimed towards a general or non-expert audience and should be worded in a way that a non-academic would understand. It might be helpful to imagine that you're explaining your research to a friend or a relative rather than a colleague or a peer. If you haven't yet thought about what your course might focus on, think about why your area of research matters. We use backward planning to guide pupils towards their final assignment and to make sure that they grasp the key issue or issues of your course. The purple box on this slide indicates where in the course design guidance document you can find more information on this. Backward design or backwards planning refers to the process of planning a course or sequence of learning where the designer focuses on the desired end result of the project first. Rather than beginning the planning process with a focus on a specific subject area or a series of activities, the design process begins by asking what learners should be able to understand and do at the end of the course. So what does backwards planning involve? First of all, you have to identify your desired results. What do you want your pupils to understand and be able to do by the end of your course? In the case of the Scholars Programme, this is your final assignment. Next, you need to consider what your tutorial outcomes will be for each week. What will your evidence be that shows the success of your pupils that week? How will you know if pupils have learned what you intended them to? Finally, you need to plan your learning experiences. What activities will lead students to their desired results? Before you decide on your final assignment and plan your course, you will begin by creating a concept map. If you already have a clear idea of what you want to cover in your course, this will help you focus on the central concept that you base your final assignment on. If you don't have such a clear idea yet, this activity will help you to narrow down your thinking. So what are the principles of a concept map? The primary concept or process is the key idea at the heart of your course. If you had to sum up your course in a sentence, you would say it is about this. This concept or process is usually something specific to your subject discipline. Secondary concepts or processes. Understanding these secondary concepts or processes will allow your pupils to master the primary concept or process more clearly. They can be taught separately, but need to be combined for an understanding of the primary concept. There may be a logical best sequence in which to teach them, and they are usually something specific to your subject discipline. Finally, examples or case studies. These illustrate the secondary concepts and the processes. It is helpful to have several examples for each, as this minimises student misunderstanding. We would suggest that the first step you take is to create a concept map of the possible content you could include in your course. First, write down your primary concept. If you don't have a fixed idea of what this is yet, you could start with a broad concept, for example, evolution, or an event, topic, or example relevant to your discipline, for example, the Peterloo Massacre. You should then write out the secondary concepts that someone would need to understand in order to master the primary concept. Finally, around each secondary concept, identify examples or case studies that help to explain this secondary concept. In this example, you can see a concept map developed around the primary concept of evolution. Don't worry if you have more than 4 secondary concepts at this stage. While you would need to be selective in what you include in your course, you can revise the exact content when you come to complete your course design template. Pause the video here and have a go at creating your concept map. At this point, you may want to take a look at what level of prior knowledge you can expect from your pupils, so you can see what kind of academic skills pupils will be assessed against. This will give you an understanding of the pupil's current level of knowledge, an appreciation of where this activity sits within a wider context, an awareness of stakeholder objectives for your activity, and an ability to communicate in the same language as schools. You may want to pause the video here and have a look at the relevant mark scheme and curriculum for your subject, and reconsider whether your secondary concepts and examples are at the right level of difficulty. You can find these in the course design guidance document. You may then want to revise your concept map at this point. It is important to note that these documents contain a lot of information, so don't be overwhelmed by the content. As pupils are learning about something beyond the curriculum, you are not expected to be well versed in national curriculums. Instead, use these to get a sense of your current pupils' level, and feedback you receive on your course design will help you adjust your course to a more appropriate level if needed. We suggest that you pitch your course about 1 level above where your pupils are currently working. So, for 14 to 16-year-old pupils in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, use GCSEs as a guide for what you expect pupils to know, and A-levels for what they should be learning next. In Scotland, use National 5 as your guide for what you should expect pupils to know, and Highers for what they should be learning next. Now, using your concept map, it's time to draft your final assignment. But first, before you come up with your question, Take a moment to think about what you would like your pupils to show that they can do. What do you want your students to be able to understand and do by the end of your course? Draft a final assignment question that fits in with your aims, and write your final assignment question down onto your backwards plan and add your aims around it. You may want to consider the following. What knowledge and understanding will they have gained from your subject? What academic skills from the mark scheme will be important to your course? And what is your intended final assignment question? Pause here and take 5 minutes to note down your answers to this. On the next 3 slides are 3 example final assignments from STEM, Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences. You will see that along with the final assignment question, we have indicated what pupils need to understand and be able to do in order to complete the final assignment. Pause the video when you see the example for your subject and compare this with your final assignment draft. Now have a go at writing out your completed final assignment questions and what pupils will need to understand and be able to do in order to complete it. Pause the video here to complete this exercise. You now have a draft of your final assignment and of your course's overall outcomes. We recommend you keep hold of these notes so you can refer back to them when completing your course design template.